Full time on YouTube.
Webjab's back. Full time on YouTube. Yeah, full time once a week. Hi guys, welcome back. Yeah, Webjab is here. People have kind of lots of questions for you, but I didn't want to overwhelm you last week.
Yeah.
I didn't even put you on camera actually last week. I just thought because you were just back, but yeah, people are thinking about you. Webjab is here, guys. Paul Laguna possibly dropping down today. We've got this part. We've got the part needed to put this engine back together. What am I doing here? It is this, and it's this pin here that came off on the last one. I think it's the same. I need to double check. Remember, it was quite difficult to find one. Where's the other one? Don't know. But yeah, so it sits in here, and the notch sits on the notch in here, and that's why it basically is the way it is. But this is all brand new now, so actually it should be good to go. What you do have to do is just check your timings again, make sure you're at top dead center before putting this on. And the only way to line these ones up, normally you'd have something across the head. Normally you'd have straight lines, and when they were straight across the head, that was it. But on this one, it's one up line here, and it has to point with this here. So you put it on like that, point it up to there, and that is how you time this engine. And this is a FMI 154 engine, or 154 FMI. Then I'll need to do the basic valve settings. So I'm going to kind of do this part. You don't need to watch this part. You've seen it on my channel many times before. It's boring, it's slow. But soon we should be able to fire it up, because we've got some fuel in the tank. The carb will still be clean. We should be able to kick this over today, actually, with no issues. No, selling it's going to be a down the line, mate, because brakes and all of that. But let's just get the basic engine running, selecting gears. Let's get that bit done first. I think that's priority. Alright guys, so we're in there. Hold the bottom end, torque the top end. That's straightforward. Again, like I said last time, we could be one tooth out. We're probably not, but we could be one tooth out. But now everything's torqued and the chain tensioner is in. It appears to be working well, which is good. We need to look at the valve. Now I do 0.10 on back and front of all Chinese bikes. It's always been that up until recently, and it may still be that on these engines. So 0.10 when cold. But I was just thinking about it, and when you put together a new engine like this, really get some oil in there. So after, I'm going to squirt some oil in. I'm going to adjust the valves first using a bit of oil for lubrication. I'm going to torque them up to the right spec, and then I'm going to just get some oil in there to kind of get it circulating. Then I'll be checking the bottom end oil just to make sure it's all there, and then I might even keep the spark plug out, kick it over a few times, get some oil circulated into the top end naturally before firing it up. Otherwise you get a lot of wear and tear on a dry cycle. You can avoid that massively by doing this. So let me set the valves and put the top cover back on, and we should be ready for a basic fire up there, really, just to show us kind of what's going on. Spark plug is nipped in and torqued up, so that's perfect. That's where it went wrong last time, and everything else is kind of ready. We were having issues with the clutch because this it didn't fit in here. Basically, it's exactly the same line, but it didn't fit in the housing, so we've had to bend the housing down a bit to make it fit. Now, I think it's probably correct, but I'm not sure how much adjustment we've got. I'm going to have a play up here to get a nice biting point. Last time the biting point was a bit high, so I'll have to play with the adjustment there. And if that doesn't work, I need to think about what's the difference here. This bit of wire could be a slightly different length from the original, because this is for a YBR engine. I bought an upgrade for the YBR engine. I couldn't even find the one for this bike, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to see if I can make that work. If not, as always, we'll find the right part when we need to. So, valve adjustment. I'm always tempted. Should I show the valve adjustment, or not? No, I might set the camera up behind me so you can get and speed the footage up so you get an idea of me doing it. But ultimately, set the top dead center, so pull it to the T in here, get the line facing up here, and then you'll have these loose valves. When they're loose like that, you want to set them to 0.10 using your feeler gauges. You just put a bit of oil on, push them in. Once they show some drag, you know you've got it at the right setting. So, valves are set. I've put brand new oil in the bottom end, as in I've drained the old and put new in. Adjustment timing chain adjuster set. Valves set. I've kicked it over a few times, so actually I'm going to put on this plate in case we get any oil slip, and these, and of course these, and then we should kind of fire it up. It should actually now just be okay to kind of fire and idle. It was always a bit touchy last time, wasn't it? But it should actually just be okay. So let's do that. Last time I think the revs were a bit weird, a bit high, but again, new top end. We don't know what's going on. Let's give it a shot. So I'm going to put the tank on loose because it is carrying fuel. If the engine fires and idles, then I'll look at seeing if it will select gear. If it selects gear, I think we have a rear brake, so we're safe to give it a little test run up and down. But by the end of today, I've got a second brake lever over there. It's more generic than this, but it's a brake lever, and I think I'll be trying to put that on.
Clutch out.
I think the clutch might be set already, Rabjab, I think. If I get time today or tomorrow, I'll get the light up and going as well. So by the end of today and tomorrow, we could have a bike that starts, maybe selects gears, more than one, and maybe has a front light, and then we'll look at the other lighting and see what's going on. So let me put them plates on, tank on, just loose, just to put fuel in, and we'll see. Just said now that the camera's going on, he'll do some pretend work, and he's got up off his chair. Fuel's in, box on, no battery. I'm not sure if this is a bike that starts with no battery, but we'll give it a few kicks.
Try it. Get there. That sounds good. That sounds better than before, Simon.
Yeah, it does. The exhaust isn't leaking.
Yeah, it sounds much better than the last time.
Choker's on.
Let it run, Simon. Let it run. Very quiet.
Yeah,
It sounds
last time the exhaust was leaking, now it's not.
it sounds quite healthy, Simon.
Yeah, it smells nice.
The last time it sounded empty. It sounded horrible. It sounded... Give me a break, Simon. You shouldn't turn it off. You shouldn't let it run.
No, I've left the bolt out of the tension of time. So,
It sounds better than the last time. Remember when you started it, Charlie? It did sound really very smoky and everything.
where is that little bolt?
Let's see, got the back up and running now. You turn the camera off.
That's right. Here it is, got it. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it lets out a little bit of compression.
Basically, I usually do the brakes and the clutch and the lights and a few other stuff. Picks up quite good, man. I need battery for it. Yeah, I think it's done. It's not bad, Charlie, even. I think it is a good. Adjusted. Let it warm up, like you said.
Okay guys, as you can hear, it sounds great. It's very quiet, it's smooth. The choke is on at the moment, which is fine. The clutch didn't select gear there, but I'm pretty sure that's adjustment. So engine wise, it sounds great currently. Sounds good. Yeah.
Sounds better than before.
Yeah, much better, much better. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. When you clean things, spray and stuff gets on them, so it smokes a bit. That's fine.
Sounds like it sounds better than before.
The choke is still on though. It got a bit iffy with the choke off.
So let it pop off.
You don't really to manage the current. I see.
What was that noise?
We had the choke on so long, it would have just been spitting out the last bit of fuel.
So what do you think of it?
So, a couple of things that I have only just noticed now. So the clutch cable adjustment, I need to take a little bit more out. I've got a tiny bit more up here, but it is now fully biting. That's good. The throttle cable isn't right. Oh look, it's not. What is that then? What have I done there? It was too long. So I've put in a block. I see what I've done there. Alright, that must have been temporary because that, you know, I would have never... I see. So that's why it's revving a bit high, because if you can see that, I've put a spacer on it. For whatever reason. I'm sure that was a CG throttle. I'm sure it was. I'll have a look. I might have a spare one in here, but I do want to put this through the gears. So I am going to take it. I am going to take it on the street, just a little bit up and down. Rabjab can film that. So yeah, I can see. So I get why it's revving a bit. There's no adjustment left. Adjustment wouldn't work when it's this kind of iffy, guys. You just need a good cable there going in, and normally it would be one with a top on it. That's fine. At least we know. At least we know what we're looking at there. Okay, let me throw the seat on loose, and I'll just see if it selects gears. I have to remember there's no front brake, but there's a rear brake, because that nearly got me there. But at the moment, very happy. That sounded great. Eventually, I want to take off the emission system, so I'll put a little blocking plate under there, and then I'll block that from the intake, and we'll get rid of all the emissions stuff there, because it's no issue for bikes. But let me test this gearbox. So in a minute, Rabjo, if you film me, I'll put the seat on loose. All I'm doing is going up and down, and we'll just see that it selects all gears. On occasion, these lose third gear, actually, sometimes fourth.
How many gears has this got? 4?
It will have 4, but sometimes it loses 1 or 2. Yep, right.